Welcome! That's about all we did in the last session. This is session 4. And instead of just welcome, we're going to enter checking account balances and save checking account balances. Whoa! It's getting so interesting I can hardly stand it. So let's get started right away. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to enter into the main screen Python 3, activating Python 3. Let's see what Mr. Larry Wells has been doing here lately. Let's type in main.py, and what happens? So what? That's exactly what we saw in installment 3. But if we press any key to continue, what do we get? It's something else. Rather than goodbye, I have 2 users. YouTube, which is you, and Bitman, which is me. So, what do you want to do first? Well, guess what? I get to choose because I'm running the video. So let's choose YouTube for the user. And it says, hello YouTube. Previous checking balance was $6,788.90. So do you want to update balance? Of course we want to update balance. So this says enter today's checking balance. Let's say that we got our paycheck into this. So let's make it, let's dream big. $8,655.55. And when we come up with that, we enter it, and it says log out. Yes, no, what do you want to do? Let's say that we say no, I'm not done yet. What happens then? Well, it goes back to hello YouTube, and I can update the balance again. So I would put in another balance, but maybe I said, oh no, I forgot. Let's finish this up. So I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say yes to log out. And there we are, goodbye. So, how can I prove to you that this thing really worked? How can I prove that happened? Let's see the previous checking balance. We got to prove that we put in the new value really works. So let me go ahead and let's run this thing again. Net worth, press any key, choose YouTube. Let's see if we bring up the last balance. Oh, I just proved it to you. There's that balance that we put in, 86.55 cents. So how did we do that? What was the magic that we used? We used a file. So we created a file in Python, which that's brand new. So let's see how all that stuff works. So let's go ahead and log out of this. And let's look at the code in Visual Studio. I love Visual Studio. Some people don't because it's a Microsoft product. But hey, Microsoft does some good stuff, so let's go ahead and live with that. Here's the code for main.py, which should be familiar to you. Let's see, we've got import welcome screen, log out, log in. Is there anything new here? Welcome screen, log in. I don't think we've had login yet, so login is new. Before we just did welcome screen and log out. Now we're doing login. So where's login? How about login.py? That seems like a good way to name it. Login.py. Let's see what happens. Okay. Import import OS. If you remember, we did an import OS when we were trying to get some OS commands, operating system commands. We imported decimal for some reason. I'm not sure if we used decimal. I think that was an earlier idea and I didn't actually come in there. Import welcome screen, that's so we can clear the screen. And let's look at a function here. Check file. File name. So now we're using files. Now look at that. If os.path, let me get that so it doesn't bring up. If this line right here, if ospath dot is file name. What's that all about? It used the OS and it used a is file name. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to see if the file exists. So if it does, then we put a true into file exist. If it doesn't, we return a false. So all this does is what it says, check file. Then we have the big one, the function of login, which calls check file. That's why I had to put that first. So let's go down here. What happens? First I say user is 0. Who's user 0? Well, there ain't no user 0. That's just a initialization condition. So welcome screen, clear screen. Nothing needed to explain there. A couple of print statements to put those two statements on the line. And then we have an input statement. Now I think that might be new. An input function where we say whatever comes in on this input, we're going to put it in this variable called user. And so it says enter number for user. And as soon as the user puts they type something in and then they hit enter, then it goes right in there. Now this does require the enter key to pick up on that. So we could improve on that to say check key or something like that. But anyway, if user is equal to 1, then we choose YouTube, then we choose Bitman. Okay. Not too much to see. Now, here we go, check file, file exists. If file exists, now if file exists, we do all this stuff. So this is the happy path. This is when things work. Else, we create file with all accounts 0. Oh, I see. If this was the first time the user logged in, he wouldn't have a file. So we initialize the checking account to 0 if the user hasn't done this, and then we write to the file the checking balance, which is 0. And then user, okay. If this, we read it in. If this, we write it in. So if you've logged in at least once, you've got a file. If it's your first time login, you got to create a file and take care of it that way. I hope that's understandable. Of course, you can put in the comments, I don't understand. You're talking too fast, or it's not coming out right. Well, let me know. Welcome screen, then we clear the screen. We say hello, and we use the user file from that if statement above. We use the user file to say hello, goodbye, whatever that is. Print previous checking. So what's new here? It's these with statements, try and accept. I did a little research. Now I know what try is for. Try is try it, and if it doesn't work, then you take the accept path, and that takes care of your error. And what I did with the error was I assigned this huge 99999 value to checking so that we can identify that it's an error. We're not going to do the error cases on this video. Then it goes down here and we break from the while loop. That didn't really take that much time. I wonder if we have a design document that goes along with that. Let's see what our design document looks like. Let's see if we followed our rough design document that we did before. User file does not exist. Create the file with 0 value. Read user file, initialize counts from, let's see, I don't think this one, so I should update this design document to go along with the code. This is proper methods. So you can always go back to the high-level design document without the comments in there. And I'm sorry, with high-level design document, I got distracted. If the high-level design document does not match the code, then you should go in there so that the two match. A little bit of double talk, but that's because my mind kind of went in an off direction here. Anyway, I think that covers it. Gosh, this installment 4 was kind of quick, but sometimes fast is better. So goodbye for now, and wait for installment 5, where we will get fancy with the files and these things called JavaScript object notation data to put in our files so that we can search better and show trends and do all sorts of stats.